Hey there, greetings everyone. Daniel Lowry here, and too bad we're missing Cybercast IRL today, but I figured we can still have some fun and still get something done. So this will be in lieu of that, but we'll definitely, hopefully, be back next Friday, and it'll be awesome. That said, one thing that was requested of me is said, if you're going to do something different, at least give us the morning pour. So sure, why not? We've got the camo cup right here, and today's pour will be a Ultra Strawberry Dreams. That's right. Deliciousness in a can, if I ever did see it. Let's go ahead and get the old crackaroo, as we like to do. Oh, yeah. I had my finger in the way, so that was kind of worked out because it wanted to splash everywhere. With that, we pour. Yes. Oh, it's a nice one. A good froth. Excellent foam. And there it is. A little tappy. Aha, never fails to satisfy, as it were. Okay. There's like a mini pour for us. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I should do this. Hold on here. My goodness, that's good stuff right there. I got my tackling fuel in. We are ready to kill it. We're going to go after Labshock today. We're going to see if we can get this installed. This was something that I heard Mike Holcomb talk about. I'll see if I can't find his information, put that down in the description for us. He was talking about this OT cybersecurity lab. You got blue team side of things. You've got a whole like OT system with PCLs and MODBUS and all that fun stuff going on. And I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. I want to check this out. He's like, yep, super easy. Get it installed fairly quickly. And he wasn't wrong. I tried it out. I got it up and running. Super cool. So we're going to jump into that. So let's get to it. So this is the Labshock website. Again, this will be down in the description below. This is labshock.github.io. And it says it emulates ICS systems. Here's the problem. Lack of hands-on OT cybersecurity. Not a lie. No safe OT pen testing spaces. Not a lie. OT SIEM and IDS, or SIM, however you like to pronounce it, validation fails. I don't know so much about that. But this is why I want to do this, because I like this stuff. I want to learn more. Hopefully you do as well. And now you're going to have a lab that you can build in your own environment and play around with this stuff. We've got IDS, we've got SIEMs, we've got pen testing, we've got SCADA system, we got PLCs, and we got ICS tools. All this stuff is for learning, and it works really well. It's only requires Docker, because it's all done in Docker. It says deploy this lab in minutes. Deploy your OT lab in less than 10 minutes. I will say, it probably took me a little bit longer than 10 minutes, right? If you're just talking about spinning up the lab, that's possible, even probable. But I did run into a few hiccups, nothing that wasn't overcome fairly simply. But you also have to bake in the time that it's going to take you to install the operating system if you don't already have that laying around. Because if you're not running one of the operating systems that they recommend, and it's not running in a vanilla setup, you might have more trouble than you expect. So just keep that in mind. So when I installed this, I'm running Ubuntu 2404 desktop. Simple. The only thing I did was update it. I installed RDP so that I could RDP into it. And I installed Terminator because I like Terminator a whole lot better than whatever default shell that they use. I think that was it. Yeah. I installed Dark Reader, like just little stupid things to just make our look and feel be a little bit better. So other than that, this is a vanilla install. Easy peasy. All right. So once you get past the installation and getting it set up for you to be able to install this stuff, then yeah, 10 minutes is on the table as far as how long it might take to install. So let's see here. So it's got step 1, install. Step 2, learn SCADA and PCL communications. explore how SCADA and PCL communicate in industrial environments, understand industrial protocols and data flow, get hands-on experience with simulated ICS assets. How cool is that? And conduct OT pen testing and attack simulations. Zang. We enjoy. Detect ICS threats and train IDS models. Super cool. So I look forward to being able to do a lot of this eventually. I am not as checked out on this as I'd like to be, which is why I was very excited to learn of this lab. I know there are other labs available as well, but this one just kind of spoke to me. And since Mike Holcomb was so, he was kind of promoting it, I thought, oh, well, then this is something I got to check out because Mike is super smart when it comes to the OT ICS SCADA space. So it explains all this what is, but let's get started. You got to just scroll down to near the bottom, and you got this try Labshock, and we'll click on that. That's going to take us to GitHub. And of course, we got a little bit of information to learn about, and it has a cool little, graphic here to teach us a little bit, or at least give you some look and feel of it. Tells you why Labshock, who can use Labshock, anybody that wants to learn this stuff. This is going to be a great, I'm telling you, you're going to love this. This is the environments right here. So you got a firewall, you've got a collector, you got a SCADA system, you got a pen test box, which I think is based on Kali. Yeah, because it's got the Kali Dragon there. You've got an IDS system, you got an engineer workstation, operator workstation, you have PLCs, you got field devices, a layer 2 switch, remote, you got SIMs, whatever you like. I don't want to start a holy war over how that's pronounced. And then there's requirements. Okay, so that's cool. Let's look at that. The requirements here are Docker. Okay, that's not too big of a lift. The minimum requirements is 2 CPUs, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 10 gigs on your hard drive. Space and utilization. If you really want to crank the wick up, though, you need 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, and 20 gigs in your hard drive, right? Other than that, oh, yes. Oh, I'm so glad we got to this. So, nothing in this world comes without a little bit of a price. Even though this doesn't cost you anything to work with, it will cost you a little bit of time and in weird ways. So once you get it spun up and operating, you have to wait 5 minutes before you can actually enter the labs and work with it before it gives you access to that. And that's just a little, it's free to explore, has this trial mode. It's trying to get your appetite wet, make you go, man, I need this in my life. Maybe there's a pay-for version. I can go find that and get installed. But you got to wait 5 minutes until that happens. So every time you fire this lab up, you're going to need to have a 5-minute wait time. So go grab a Coke and a smile, and then you come back to it, and then you can log in. But don't wait too long because you only have 40 minutes of lab time before the lab auto shuts down. It just automatically stops. So, and it shows you all that stuff right here. 5-minute installation or initialization delay, 40-minute session limit. After that, Labshock shuts down. You can restart Labshock as many times as you like. So you can continue to use this for free, but if you need that long-term use, you're going to have to reach out and talk to somebody about that. All right, install and update. Disclaimer, you are running this lab at your own risk, of course. So your mileage may vary. You read this disclaimer. If you do not, that is on you. There is this lovely quick start guide. There's also videos that you can go watch that, would be different than this one. And I highly recommend that you do, but I want to just grab that quick start guide and throw that right here because this is where we're going to go. This is follow these steps to get your ICS lab up and running. You need Linux, Debian 12, or Ubuntu 24. I'm running Ubuntu 24. I kind of feel like I should have went with Debian 12, honestly. Ubuntu hasn't been, I don't know, it's been acting hinky on me, but whatever. I've already got it on. What are you going to do? You can also use Windows 10 or 11 or Mac OS version 15. Also, Labshock is working under ARM architecture. That's nice to know as well. Now, how do we get this thing installed? Docker is the way to fly. There are other ways in which you can do it, but Docker was super easy. This is not difficult. We do not want to make it overcomplicated. Let's stick to the easy stuff, right? And then you can go play around with the lab and have a good time. That's what it's all about. I want to spend all my days trying to get stuff installed. I just want to run it. Now they give you this bash script, right? You can download this. You can just copy that like I just did right there. There's a little copy button. But when I ran this, it did not run. It did not work. I would run into certain things that did not work. It would drop out. Like if I did the curl and it didn't work, it would drop out. This is just welcome to Linux land. Yeah, it has a lot of horsepower, but man, it's you gotta talk to it real sweet sometimes to make it do what you want it to do. And it can be a little frustrating. But what I ended up doing was just kind of taking it bit by bit, because it's just a bash script. These are all just bash commands, right? Follow this, do that, do this, do that. So it needs to start off by uninstalling old Docker versions. Then it's going to prepare the system for a Docker repository, right? So it's going to give you everything you need. There's the Docker's official GPG key, getting that installed on your system. Then you're going to add the Docker repository with this stuff right here. You're going to update and install Docker with these commands right there. And then finally, you're going to run Docker without root privileges so that you don't have to sudo everything by running these commands. And at the end of all that, if you can run Docker -- version and get some output, you should be hammer down, ready to fly. So let's do this. Now, I have already done this on this system, but I don't think it's going to be a problem to do it over again. We'll see, right? That'll be fun. So I'm just going to start copying stuff. Copy like that, right? So just highlight and copy, go to a terminal, which I already have open. And actually, I think do we need to git clone first? Let me look at that. I might have skipped a step here because the quick start guide does not say anything about it. There's the official installation guides, which you can also look at that. This might be, that's for the Docker engine. Yeah, getting that installed. That's actually a really nice piece of, I've used that documentation before. It's very, very helpful. Do we need to clone this thing first, though? Let's run back to the GitHub repo. And yeah, there's the portal. There's working with the PLCs. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we just need to follow this guide, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a day or two since I've done this. So cool. Install, blah, 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 run in terminal. I'm guessing there's one part where after we install Docker, install Git. So if you don't have Git, you'll want to run that. Install Labshock. All right, okay. Just making sure I got all my ducks in a row here. So this should be a straight, just follow the script. Cool, I'm going to copy this. We'll put it in here, paste, and then just fire it off. Of course, you need your password. There it goes. Easy, nothing to it. That's how it should go. That's how it should go for you. If you've got a vanilla installation of Ubuntu or Debian, that's how that should have looked. All right, let's jump back. Now, of course, you can try to run this script completely, just save it as a .sh file, chmod +x, that sucker, and try to run it. But again, I ran into issues, so I ended up doing it this way. So now I'm going to prepare the system for the Docker repository. I'm going to copy that, and I will go back and paste it in. Hit enter. And since it already exists on mine, I'm good to go. No big deal. But you should have gone through some steps there as well. All right, let's see here. Now we're going to add the official GPG key, which is the encryption key to make sure you're getting the right thing. Copy that, and that the repository is the repository that you think you're using. Wrong thing, Daniel. There we go. All right, let's Shift-Control-V that monkey in there and hit enter. Easy, nothing to it. If it wasn't there, it is now. I love having fun. All right, next, add the Docker repository. Copy all this, copy, and then Shift-Alt. Move back over, Shift-Control, Control-V. No, Shift-Control-V. There you go. All the hotkeys, they're fun. Fire that off. And again, this is what you should be seeing. There's no output. If you're getting errors, that's when you've run into a problem. And you got to look at those errors. I highly recommend that if you do run into errors for whatever reason, just throw them into ChatGPT throw them into Gemini, say, hey, I'm trying to install this. This is the command I'm using. Grab that command string, throw it in, and then say, this is the output I'm getting. Everything. You just throw it all in there and it'll guide you down the right path. So because everybody's environment is different, it's hard to troubleshoot everyone. So if you ask me, hey, I had trouble, I'll be like, maybe I can help you, maybe I can't. ChatGPT and stuff's going to be able to help you out with that a lot. All right, where are we at here? Next thing we do is update and install Docker. Booyah. Go grab all that. Make sure you get it all. Copy. And then back to your terminal, Shift-Control-V, and fire it away. Mine should say everything's already up to date, everything's good to go. But if you don't have it installed, and with the vanilla install, you shouldn't, you should now be good to go. All right, let's head back. What else? I know it's just a lot of copy pasta, but it's easier to go this way because then if anything errors, that's the other thing about this. Like when you grab an install script, things can just error and it might not give you good output. You kind of have to sift through things to see where did it go wrong? Why is that not working? Whereas if you take it a chunk at a time like this, and that's what I love about scripted stuff, is it's meant to be read from top down. You can just take that script and go from top down and do them a little bit at a time. See if anything is failing. You can see where it is failing because it's right in that script somewhere. You can do it one line at a time. I'm copying multiple lines, but you can do it single line by single line just to see, is this thing running? If it is, I know this is where my problem is, and I can focus my troubleshooting efforts on that specific line. So that's why I like doing this. Of course, it's easier to just copy it into a shell script and run the script, but I had a little trouble, so this is the way I did this. All right, so I am copying the run Docker without root privileges. Copy that. Go back over here and Shift-Control-V and hit enter. Well, that was fun. It killed my my terminal. Why you die, Terminator? Hopefully that's all the problems we have with that. Maybe I'm hosing myself, but we'll see. We'll see. Give you a little more real estate in the terminal there. And now we can go back to Labshock. Well, yeah, Labshock. That's where I'm going to copy this. All right, let's get back over here. If everything has gone according to plan, you should be able to do Docker -- version, and you get a version and information. So let's try that. So Docker -- version. And look at that. I've got a version. I should be good. Now it's time to move on to the next step. Now, if you don't have Git installed, you're going to need to do the Git thing too, but you can always check, you can do Git -- version. And I already have Git installed. That came with this. I don't remember doing it. Of course, you can just follow the bouncing ball, do what it says to do, install Git. There's the official installation guide right there. Open that. And then follow this. But really, this is really what you should have to do. If you're using Debian or Ubuntu, that's what you do right there. See, if you're on a Debian-based distribution, such as Ubuntu, try apt. You don't say. Well, that's super helpful, right? So all you'd have to do here is go here, and you can do like an apt search for Git and look for it. Oh, I love when it gives you everything that has the word Git in it. I have to do some... Boy, that's dumb. But there you go. You just do sudo apt install Git. And if you want to, you can kind of tab complete that out. But there you go. So, Control-C, and then you'd have Git. Easy, nothing to it. Now, what's our next step? Where are we at? We are on... install Labshock. Cool. Almost at the station. How long has it been? All right, so I'm 20 minutes in, but I'm explaining as I go. So, yeah, what are you going to do, right? That's cool. This is where let's start the timer here because all that stuff, or maybe even a little bit of the installing Docker, installing Git, we could add that to it. If we just kind of went line by line and did the Git and did the Docker, I'm going to say that was probably 2 to 5 minutes worth of time. So we'll put that on our clock and we'll start here and see how long it takes for us to get this Labshock thing up and running, shall we? All right, for us now, we just need to grab this git clone, and Shift Control V, do the magic. And it's done. We now have another Labshock, which we will CD into Labshock. Then we have another Labshock. It's like Inception of Labshock. This is the Matryoshka dolls of Labshock. So CD into Labshock again. And then there you have everything you need. This is all the stuff. We have cloned the Git repo. We are just about at the station. This is where it does get fairly easy. It will take a minute for us to actually be able to enter the lab, obviously, because of the 5-minute wait. Plus, it's got to download a bunch of Docker images and things of that nature. But all we need to do now is Docker compose build like that. So we copy that. We go back in this Labshock. So if you Git cloned it, wherever you Git cloned it, there should be a Labshock folder and then a Labshock folder inside the Labshock folder. Once you go there, you should be able to run this. So we've got this docker compose.yaml file right there. And that's where Shift Control V, Docker compose build is going to use that file to orchestrate the entire deployment of Labshock. Fire it off and away we go. Now, mine took a little bit less time because, like I said, I've already done this on this system before. So all of the different images that is needed by Docker to run this thing have already been downloaded. You're probably still sitting there waiting for everything to complete. It's going to take a little bit of time. So let it download and let it trickle through and you'll be good. And then you should see something that looks similar to what my screen looks like right here. Okay. Now that we have that, it's just Docker compose up right there. Copy that, take it over here, Shift Control V, and enter. And away it goes. So now it's spinning everything up. We start to see all the different images are being run, all the different environments are firing off. There's the firewall, there's transfer. Let's see here. And you just keep waiting. You're waiting till it kind of calms down. Eventually it will, and you can see right here, trial mode active, initialization for 5 minutes. So now we've got to wait 5 minutes. Of course, I'm not going to make you wait 5 minutes. I'm going to pause the video right here. And in 5 minutes, it should be ready to rock. And then we can log in and check it out. It's going to be a good time. So hang on. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, and we are back. It is obviously doing something. So as soon as that 5 minutes goes up, it starts doing all sorts of fun stuff, right? It comes to life and tells you, hey, you're ready to rock. Everything is going. And it does tell you that you are in that limited 40-minute range of time to use all this information or use this lab. So just keep that in mind. All right, now that it's up and running, let's jump back into our setup here. So we did Docker compose up. You can also start in the background with a -D. And then if you need to stop it, it's just Docker compose Labshock down, project name Labshock down. So you can copy that. So when you're ready to bring this all down, or you can just wait the 40 minutes and it'll shut itself down. Now, if you want to update it, there's capabilities there. But I think that all we need to do at this point is go to our local host and start working with it. So I think it's just http://localhost, like so. Or is it under HTTPS localhost? Aha! That was one of the caveats. I remember now. Aha! When I first spun this up, I was like, okay, I keep seeing that this is supposed to be under localhost. I don't understand the problem here. Why is it not going to here? I'm just getting an Apache web page. And I thought, maybe it's under HTTPS. That is the key. So you definitely need to do HTTPS to get access to Labshock. So let's go check that out. And of course, when you see the security risk, you just need to kind of like yes your way through it. However, whatever browser you're using, you know how to do that. For me, it's just clicking advanced and then accept the risk and continue. If you are using the same system I am, then this should look identical. And here is Labshock. Now, what is the username and password? I want to say it's admin Labshock. right now. I guess we'll have to go look in the documentation because I do not remember. I'll say never save this. I don't need you to save it. So let's see here. Where is the... that's Labshock. Install, run and stop, project name. We need those passwords. We need that username and password. Where are you? Start configuring your lab. Maybe that's where we go. Let's click that. Cool. Oh, so this is going to be really good information for us now that it's installed. I'm not going to get too far down the road on this at all, honestly, because this is going to be like where I have to start learning. I have to understand how this works. So let's go to the configuration guide. No, let's head over here. The quick start, there should be, there it is. So it's Labshock. That's what it is. Cool. That's easy enough. Change that to Labshock. We are logged in. We are flying. We're having a good time. Tell me this isn't gorgeous. Beautiful interface, beautiful dashboards. Everything looks cool. And this is where you can just start playing around. Start having fun right here. Click on SCADA and it'll take you to this whole system. And look at this stuff, man. You got all this fun SCADA. You've got a full SCADA system. We can see that we got one pump running here. We've got tanks, filters, and what looks like flow valves or something right here. And we can see that this is flowing. We even have a few indicators letting us know what the flow rate is, in and outs, and how and why this is all running and where it's going to. And then you can do things like turn these pumps on. And you'll notice the flow rate just jumped up. So you've got this really cool SCADA system at your ready that you can start fiddling with. And you even have a builder where you can change all these things and add and take away and manipulate your whole SCADA environments. Build that environment the way you want it to be so that you can start playing. So this is going to be great for learning the SCADA systems themselves. This is so cool, right? I'm loving this thing. And then you can come in here and you say, you know what, I want to turn off pump 1. And I can see that you'll notice that the flow changed. Now it's going through here. Like there's logic behind that. How did that happen? How did it know that when this pump turns off to open these valves, shut these off, and then move water through here and hit the pump? You'll notice that this valve right here is still closed, right? So if I turn this pump off, look, now it opens and you get it in real time. This is such a cool thing. And then of course, there's a little bit more over on this side of the screen showing us more metrics and information about flow and pressure and how that looks. And you can hover to discover a lot of stuff. This is such a cool system. And this is just the SCADA part. We haven't even gotten into what you can do with, defensive security and offensive security. You still have like all these cool things. We can see alerts that jump up. Pump 1 has stopped working. Pump 2 has stopped working. We've got too low of a flow rate. Connection to the PLC was lost. You can check these out. You can work with all this stuff. Very cool system, right? This is nothing to sneeze at. So cool. And then if you need to go home, you can just click on one of these things. I'll hit the home part, and that will take me right back to where I started with this right here. So I can turn this pump back on, or I can just close this. Then I can go to the PLC service, which has credentials to log in with. I'm guessing it's all Labshock. But let's just see here. Labshock. Doesn't look like it. So you will definitely need to keep an eye on what's going on here. We might need this wiki. So open that in the new tab. There we go. Portal pages, logins, docs. Let's see here. Licenses. So if you need a license for that, you might have to go over to these sides over here to get configured or logged in. That's Docker. That's the quick start guide. They just need a page that has all the usernames and passwords on it, I think anyway. Labshock PLC. Does it have... Yeah, so there you go. Open PLC is going to be your username and password. Cool. We can do that. Open PLC, I don't know. I don't think I spelled that correctly. Open PLC. Log into this. We've got a dashboard for a programmable logic controller. We can see the logs. We can go look at these programs. We can upload our own program. This is cool. Got all these different devices, monitoring systems. Look at all this stuff, man. This is so cool. So I can see that this has a right value of true or false. All this stuff, what the different hardware is. Interesting. Users, we can add new users. We can go change the settings on all this stuff. Highly configurable. Highly configurable. So I'll log out of that. Let's go back and see what else we've got. We've got an engineering workstation, EWS. Click on that. Go here. And of course, we'll need the password for the engineering workstation. Pentest Fury. Where did we pass it already? Just got to look for it here. There it is, EWS. So the password is engineer. We go back. We click password of ENGINEER. And now you're logged in, right? And this is, of course, just a web page or whatever, but it looks just like an actual. I'm guessing I'm getting a little bit of craziness because I can't zoom out very well. Let me see if I can zoom out. Yeah. There we go. One more maybe? No, too much. That looks just right, for at least us anyway. So you get this full like workstation area, this EWS, Engineer's Workstation. You have access to the SCADA system. I can double click on that and look what it does. Takes me right in, just like I was sitting at a workstation. This is the coolest thing. I'm like freaking out how much I enjoy this. You can go check the PLC, get logged in, right? All the stuff that we have on our side of the thing, if you were an engineer with a workstation, you'd be able to do that. It looks like a Windows system, but I think it's based off of Kali actually, or some other Linux system. It's just kind of given the look and feel of a Windows system. This is so great. This is so great. All right, let's see here. You can even log out? I think you can. Yeah, look at that. Log out. And there you go. So you're just like VNCing into a workstation. What else do we have? We have, of course, everyone's favorite Pentest, which we'll save for last. We're going to IDS. Fooled you there, didn't you? You're like, oh, we're going to Pentest. Nope. We've got IDS alerts. We've got packets. We've got connections, PCAPs, network, visual network view. So this is how all this stuff is connected. This is the coolest. Man, I love this lab. Settings. Let's go to IDS alerts. So we're seeing an intrusion detection system, and we can see it in real time. We can search for things. We've got all this stuff to play around with. Down here at the bottom, you can look at packets. You can look at connections. You can look at network. You can look at the PCAP. So you can kind of bounce your way through us down here at the bottom. Tell me you're not freaking out that you love this thing already. We've got a title collector under logs. That's okay that the license check has failed. We've got sources, so we can kind of see the network and the IP addresses that are connected there. And of course, at that point, now we kind of want to hit that pen test. Let's go to Pentest Fury. Now I think, let's see, do I have S7? So you see all these things that are grayed out. That means you don't have access to these. And that's unfortunate. I would love to get the access to like S7 stuff, deployed agents. Man, that would be super cool. But we do get Nmap and we do get MODBUS. And that is a great starting spot, honestly. So you can click on Nmap. You can go to like ping without doing a port scan. And it even kind of tells you where to go. And it's 192.168.2.0/24. So we can run that 192.168.2.0/24. And then just hit run. And we wait, and eventually, hopefully, there you go. You get some in-map output right there saying, hey, I found this report for 192.168.2.10. I found another one for 254. We can then go do a TCP scan. So let's do 192.168.2.10 and give it a port number of like, I think 507 is that. Let's run that. No, it looks like I got the wrong one, but you can see that it is closed. Can I do a range? Because that would be rocking. I don't know if I can do a range. Let's go do a host scan. There's a host scan button up here. All right, here we go. This is what we're looking for. So there we go. Host range. IP address 192.168.2. What was it, 10 that we looked at before? Yeah. And then we'll give it a port range of one. We'll do what it says, 1 through 1000. Run that. 502, not 507. Look at that right there. You can see they've got an open port on 502. Cool. Let's do a network scan again. This time we'll put 502 in there and see what happens. Run that. It is open. Cool. Everything looks good. Is there anything else we can do? There's aggressive. There's deep. Identify services. Absolutely. So 192. I don't know if I'm too zoomed in or something. Yeah, it's weird. Just says IP address. So we will go with it. We will go with it. I'll just put that in down there on deep 192.168.2.10 and run. Let's see what that does. Waiting for it. Loading. There we go. Cool. Right? And now we can come in here and hopefully we can roll through. Yeah, excellent. Look at that. So we got 502 is open, running MODBUS, giving that information right there. It's got a server running on 8080 of HTTP. Awesome. So it's running some sort of Python server there, right? Just like you would do in a real environment where you're doing host enumeration, service enumeration, starting to scan things and understand how they work. Let's go back, or actually you can go down here at the bottom and you got MODBUS. And from here, we have the ability to like read coil, write coil. Yeah, I don't even like, this is all new to me. You are watching me in real time learn how to work with this. All right, permanent write, random writes. So can we read a coil? Okay, let's see what that does. 192.168.2.10. And then the port was 502. And then starting address of 0, sure. Number of addresses, it says 10. So we'll just go with what it says. Run that. Cool. Then we get all these different coils, I guess. And one of them says true and the other says false. So can we write that in write coil? So if we go to 192.168.2.10, port 502, and then address, I guess, is 0. Yeah. And then the value to write. So it's giving me a numerical value. So we'll just go with 0 and see what that does. So it's probably binary, like 0 is true or false and 1 is true or false. So 1 is probably true and 0 is probably false. That's my guess. We'll run that. It does say coil writes successfully to address 0. Let's rerun this. And yes, that now says false. Let's head back and look at our SCADA system and see if we can see any of that. I could have swore I had one of these pumps turned on. Interesting. Let's go back. Let's rewrite this value to 1. Run that. And then we'll go here. And I can see that the pump is running now, but it's still red. Interesting. Dude, that is cool. That is super cool. So if I were to just glance at this, I would think that pump is not running, but I see the flow. I saw the flow rate meter go up. That is rocking. Dude, okay. I've got some work to do on this thing. I got some fun to have. Hopefully you do as well. This is awesome. I cannot wait to dig into more on this, learning about PLCs, learning about SCADA, learning about MODBUS. And this lab environment is going to just open up this world to all of us now. Thank you. Okay, so let's give some shout out here, right? Because the person that created this is none other than Zakhar. Okay, so shout out to Zakhar. I think they have some videos. I think that's what we saw with the videos. Yes, videos. Let's go here, open that in the new tab, and wait for it. There we go. Zakhar Bernhardt. Zakhar Bernhardt, thank you, good sir, for developing such a cool tool. My bro's only got 414 subscribers. You know what to do, right? That is well, I'll thank you so much, Hudson Labor Sale. I don't care. But Zakhar Bernhardt, we want to go to his. There we go, right there. I'm going to drop that link in the description below so you can go give this person some love. Definitely jump on the GitHub, give that a star, right? Show Zakarh some massive love. Thank you so much, Zakarh, for creating such a cool environment. I cannot wait to know all the ins and outs and how this stuff works, learn more about MODBUS, learn more about PLCs and SCADA, and even some cybersecurity stuff that is around there. I cannot wait to play with the SIEM, and you just gave us such a great tool. We thank you for that. That said, looks like we are done for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give me a like and subscribe. Make a comment below. Tell us if you know some other labs that could be useful, or drop some other great resources in the comments below that we can all learn more and use as maybe some guides to help us test against these systems and learn about them. Really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. That said, looks like we're at the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you get this installed. And until next time, keep hacking.